So, in recent videos, I've been running a suspiciously suspicious piece of equipment, something that's involved quite a lot of editing and blurring over the last few weeks. So, condolences to my editor, Ethan. He's had to do a bit of a job there. But yes, as many of you suspected, the suspicious bit of equipment I'm running is the all brand new Simucube 3. And yeah, the one I'm running is the Simucube 3 Pro, to be specific. And as of today, the 9th of October, this is the big release, the grand launch of Simucube 3. And yeah, today we're going to have an early access look as to what's new, how does it compare to Simucube 2? Because honestly, when Simucube first told me about this project a few months ago, I was sat there and I was a bit skeptical. I was like, how can you possibly improve Simucube 2? I had a Simucube 2 Ultimate, which was arguably the best wheelbase in sim racing. I was like, what more do I need? So when I heard about the project, I was like, So yeah, we'll definitely take a dive into what is new and improved. And yeah, let's get into it. So here's a first look at the all new and shiny Simucube 3. Now, as a Simucube ambassador, I was a very lucky man and managed to get my hands on one of these wheelbases quite a while ago. I'd say over a month ago now. And the main reason for that is because I've been helping Simucube behind the scenes in the testing and development of the wheelbase, along with a few others, one of them including fellow sim racer to real racer Tim Heineman. So yeah, that is pretty cool. They're leaning on people like me and Tim. And that whole process was quite interesting. It was all over Discord. It was quite the process where Simucube were just asking us the questions that really matter. You know, how does the force feedback feel? Have I got all the adjustability to my liking to make it feel how I want it to feel? How's the UI? Is it user-friendly? Is it idiot-proof? You know, those sort of questions. But yeah, let's get arguably the most important topic out of the way, which is the cost of this new kit. So like the Simucube 2, Simucube 3 has 3 versions of the wheelbase. So the Sport, the Pro, and the Ultimate. The prices for those wheelbases will be on the screen now. So you can see the Pro, the one I've got on the rig right now, is £1,399. But that is also without the Simucube Link hub, which you will of course need to run the wheelbase. And yeah, it's also worth saying that the Simucube 3 Ultimate won't be available for pre-order until 2026. But you can pre-order the Sport and the Pro as of today. So, and I believe shipping starts in November. So yeah, make sure you watch till the end if you want to get a cheeky little discount for one of those, if you're interested in getting one of those. Right then, so let's split this video into 3 sections. So first we'll look at the hardware, then we'll look at the software, and then we will look at the feel. So yeah, let's start with the hardware. Firstly, it's a slightly chunkier wheelbase compared with Simucube 2, so you need a little bit more space around it. And it's a really nice looking bit of kit. It looks really slick, really premium, very Simucube. You know, it's definitely a step on in that sense. This one I've got right here, the Simucube 3 Pro, weighs in at about 11 kilos. It's just over 300 millimeters long and 135 millimeters high and wide. So just to give you a sense of how big it is, it was dead simple to set up. The instructions made it super easy. To be honest, I didn't even need the instructions. So, you know, if an idiot like me can do it, then everyone else should be okay. And yeah, the biggest change or upgrade to the hardware would be the brand new quick release system that they've got. It's a proper quick release system. In fact, I can just take this off. So you can see I've got the female part here, and then I've got the male part on the wheelbase itself. And you can see you just align that. It's a super simple, really light sort of quick release, and you just align it. It's got the electricals in there as well, and yeah, as I say, idiot proof, super easy, super firm, and does the job. So definitely a big improvement operationally, and it looks really nice as well compared to Simucube 2. And they have actually made an adapter so you can use this quick release on Simucube 2 wheelbases, so I think that's pretty cool. They're not just making it for the new kit. And yeah, the next big change would be the integration of Simucube Link. So for those of you that have active pedals, or maybe some of you don't actually know what Simucube Link is, it's basically a different way or system of connecting your devices to your PC. So the wheelbase, for example, so you've obviously got the power supply and the power cables powering the thing from the mains electricity. You'll also have a Ethernet cable, which goes into an Ethernet switch box. And then from the Ethernet switch box, you plug it into the Simucube Link device, and then from the Simucube Link device you plug it into the PC via USB cable. So yeah, it sounds quite complicated, but it's really not. And the idea here is that all of your Simucube products on your rig only take up one USB cable going into your PC, and they're all in the same system. Whereas before, you know, stereotypically what we do is, you know, your wheelbase will take up one USB port, your pedals will take up another one, your wheel rim will take up another one. So the idea here is that it's all in one system, which then has one cable going into your PC. And for me, that's massive. I mean, I'm always running out of USB spaces on my PC. As well as that, Simucube have also told me that linking everything together this way has quite significant performance and reliability improvements. So that's definitely another plus. And yeah, just to clarify then, so you only ever need one Simucube link for your entire rig. So if you've got one already, say you've got active pedals or something like that, you won't need to get another one for the wheelbase. So then, moving on to the software, and if we all use our eyes for a minute, we can all agree that this looks much, much better than it did before. So yeah, it's way easier on the eye and a much more user-friendly interface. It's worth saying that Simucube have really stressed to me that this is not the finished article. There's still lots of improvements, lots of updates coming to this software, so definitely worth bearing that in mind. But even still, this looks miles, light years ahead of where it was before. So that's super good to see. And if we click in and have a nosy then at my wheelbase profile, we can see quite a few different settings. First thing we'll touch on is the information icons. So you can see here, if I just hover over those, they tell you exactly what each setting does, which I think is a really nice thing, because at first glance, if you've never seen this before, it can be like, what the hell am I looking at? They've introduced a new feature which is called the torque scaler knob, which quite an interesting setting. So yeah, there's a rotary switch that's attached to the emergency stop button box, so you can adjust the torque on the fly as you're driving. So say, for example, I mean, the first reason you would use this, say you're mid-stint and the force feedback's starting to hurt, you would turn it down using this feature. But the way I think this could be quite interesting is, say at the beginning of a race, it's dry. So typically in the dry, you feel more force feedback than you would in the wet because you're going faster, you get more feeling through the wheel. And sometimes when it rains in the sim, it can numb the feeling you're getting, or it definitely nullify it a little bit. So say at the beginning of a dry race, you put it to 80%, you know it's going to rain mid-stint. When it rains, you can just tweak this up using the adjuster and get more feeling back. Compared to people who haven't got this, they wouldn't be able to get that same feeling back. So I think there might be quite a few interesting ways to utilize this new tool, and I really like that they've added this into it. If we look at the max torque, you can see on this wheelbase, the Pro, we can go up to 25 Newton meters, and on the Sport, I believe it's 15 Newton meters, and the Ultimate, it's 35 Newton meters. So yeah, that would definitely give you a bit of a workout. The torque scaler knob overlay can be adjusted. So this is typically what you'll see. There it is right there, and you can just move this around the screen wherever you think is best for your setup. So that's what it looks like. But yeah, away from this, there's definitely quite a bit of added adjustability. So compared to the Simucube 2 software and the Simucube 2 wheelbases, we can adjust quite a few different things in comparison. So the first new setting we can see is effect shaping. And you can see within effect shaping, you've got detail strength, effect aggressiveness. You can adjust the responsiveness of it as well. And you've got presets up here, so you can click, we can go to standard, which is where I started off. You can put it to extreme. You can chill it out a bit, and it adjusts the individual sliders down below. But for my iRacing profile right now, if we load that, I had it on quite a lot of detail strength, not much aggressiveness, and then quite high responsiveness. That's just where I ended up for the minute. So if we scroll down, we've got a new section called telemetry effects, which is a very interesting section. So within that, you've got motor vibration, ABS, gear change effect. So these things are definitely going to be a big thing, I think, for immersion. So motor vibration, being able to feel the engine rumbling the rest of the car through the wheel. Same with the ABS, when you're into the ABS under braking, being able to feel that through the wheel could be quite useful, I think. And some of the simulators out there already do that to an extent already, like Le Mans Ultimate, you can feel it through the wheel. And then the gear change effect, feeling that jolt of a gear change through the wheelbase. I've tried it out, it's quite an interesting feature actually. So I think these will be very good for immersion. And if you want to feel like you're driving a race car more than you did before, I think these will definitely come in handy. And then if we scroll up to a section which was there before, which was the mechanical feel section with friction, damping, and inertia, quite standard settings for force feedback within a wheelbase. We've got an extra layer of adjustability with these. So with the damping and inertia, you can actually adjust the specific curve for the wheelbase speed. So if you want more damping when you turn the wheel quickly, or less damping, or when do you want the damping to come in, all of that adjustability is now available with these curves. So yeah, not for friction, but for damping and inertia, you can do that at the minute, which again it's pretty wild you can do that, to be honest. It's a lot of adjustability here. You can literally do whatever you want. And yeah, overall, I think it's going to take me a while to understand fully how can all of this correlate to more speed, more consistency, more car control, more immersion. But it's definitely there for the taking. It just needs a bit more testing, and there's definitely more to play with and more on offer compared with Simucube 2. Right, so let's actually talk about what the wheelbase feels like. So it's always a hard one to translate over to you as the viewer. I can't show you how something feels, so I'll do my best to explain. And yeah, it's fair to say we've seen noticeable improvements in both the hardware and the software so far. And it is the same when it comes to the feel I get through the force feedback as well. It's definitely a step up on Simucube 2. It feels sharper, more instantaneous. I'm getting what feels like a bit more detail in terms of what the car is doing underneath me at all times, which obviously is essential for feel and control. Despite the fact that I've said it feels sharp, it feels smoother in the way the force feedback gets delivered to you. So sort of a contradiction there, but it feels sharp whilst feeling smooth. You get what I mean? And yeah, that really, for me, that helps it not feel artificial. So I definitely think the immersion maybe has taken a step up from the fact it feels a bit more natural, not like forced, artificial force feedback. Yeah, an example, before with Simucube 2, going over some aggressive curbs, sometimes it would just feel like a generic rumble, whereas now I feel like you can really feel what sort of curb is underneath you. You've got a little bit more detail and clarity as you're going over that bump or that curb. And yeah, it just overall, it feels a little bit less clunky than Simucube 2, which feels wild to say, because yeah, Simucube 2, the Ultimate I had, it did not feel clunky. It felt top of the top. So to take another step is just absolutely nuts. Yeah, it's worth mentioning as well, I've been trying to put this wheelbase through its paces as much as possible. I've been using it for all of my sim racing in the last 4 or 5 weeks across all the different sim tiles really, iRacing, Le Mans Ultimate, ACC, Assetto Corsa, Rennsport, pretty much all of them, just to try and find as many things wrong with it as possible to feed back to Simucube. And yeah, I do remember the moment I took the old Simucube 2 Ultimate off, put this one on, and then I tested it at Road Atlanta in the McLaren GT3 on iRacing, as I thought that's quite a bumpy track. If there is a difference, I'll feel it sort of immediately. And I did feel a step up on the outlap. Like, I was like, I don't know how it feels different and better, but it did. So really impressive that they've managed to one-up the Simucube 2, to be honest. Of course, for you guys, all of my wheelbase profiles will be down in the description below via a link, so you can download them manually, import them manually into the software. I think there will also be a preset in the software if you get a Simucube 3, so yeah, that will make things a bit easier, it'll give you a baseline to work from. It can be quite overwhelming when you do have so much adjustability. I said this in the Simucube active pedal video. When you have so much to adjust, it's almost like there's too much when you first look at it and you're like, where do I start? So having a good baseline definitely helps. And yeah, it's also great timing as well, getting the wheelbase when I got it, because as you guys probably know by now, I've got the call up to do the final round of GT World Challenge with Garage 59 in the McLaren. As of releasing this video on the 9th of October, the race weekend will be just getting underway. I'll probably be on track testing as this goes live, which is pretty nuts to think. And yeah, it's definitely given me a more realistic feel compared with Simucube 2, which is, as I say, it's great for my prep to close the gap between the real car versus the car I used at home to prep on the sim. So there you go, that was a first look at one of the new Simucube 3 wheelbases in this fairly short overview video. It's fair to say I'm still getting to grips with it myself. It took me a fairly long time to get my head around the active pedals, given all the adjustability that's on offer. So hopefully at some point later this year, when I'm fully dialed in and once the software is fully finished as well, we'll come back to this and do like a full-on review video where we can really get into the details of everything and talk about it more. If you feel like you want to jump on the Simucube 3, check out the affiliate links down in the description below, where it will give you a 3% discount. Alternatively, if you just use the code JAMES, that will also give you the discount as well. And before some of you laugh and say,
it's only 3%.
At premium prices for a premium product, 3% makes a sizable difference. So it's worth having. And yeah, of course, if you guys have any questions on Simucube 3, get down in the comments below. I will do my best to answer as many of those as possible. And of course, I hope you all enjoy the video. So leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy it. And I will make sure to see you lot on the next one. So take care. Bye-bye.